Welcome to Mysteries and Crime, where we explore the world's most haunting mysteries. Today, we dive into the chilling case of the Las Cruces bowling alley massacre, a crime that shook a quiet town and left more questions than answers. On February 10th, 1990, the small city of Las Cruces, New Mexico, was forever changed by an act of senseless violence that still haunts investigators and the community to this day. Before we get started, this week's clue is: what item was mysteriously missing from the crime scene? Think you can solve it? Share your answer in the comments below for a chance to be featured next week. Also, we're excited to introduce a new feature to our channel: Daily Scary Bedtime Stories. Each evening, we'll bring you spine-chilling tales that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Be sure to tune in and experience the thrill of fear before you sleep. Prepare yourself for a deep dive into the horrifying details, lingering mysteries, and theories surrounding this tragic event. Stay tuned, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your theories in the comments below. On the morning of February 10th, 1990, the Las Cruces bowling alley became the scene of a brutal massacre. Armed intruders entered the building, shot 7 people, and set the place on fire in an attempt to cover their tracks. 4 victims lost their lives, while 3 miraculously survived. What makes this case so chilling is not just the sheer brutality, but the fact that decades later, the perpetrators remain unidentified. How could such a crime take place in a peaceful town? And who could have been behind it? The crime scene at the Las Cruces bowling alley was discovered in the late morning hours after a frantic 911 call from one of the survivors. Upon arrival, first responders were met with a harrowing sight: the bodies of victims scattered across the floor, blood pooling around them, and the smell of smoke lingering in the air. Investigators immediately noticed signs of forced entry and a ransacked office, with the cash register missing. Shell casings were strewn across the scene, indicating a rapid and chaotic attack. Despite the devastation, there were crucial clues left behind, including ballistics evidence and eyewitness testimony from survivors. Initial assessments led authorities to believe that the crime was a robbery gone wrong, but the calculated nature of the violence suggested something more sinister. In the immediate aftermath, law enforcement moved swiftly to secure the area, cordoning off the bowling alley to preserve evidence. The community was in shock, with fear gripping the town as rumors and speculation spread like wildfire. The local media descended on the scene, reporting on every emerging detail. Public outrage and a desperate need for answers put immense pressure on investigators to deliver results quickly. Each victim of the Las Cruces bowling alley massacre had a story to tell. Among them was Ida Hogan, an employee who had dedicated years to the alley. Her dedication to her job was well known, and her presence was a comforting fixture for regular customers. Stephanie Candelario, a young girl who was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and her mother, also fell victim to the attackers' bullets. The tragedy struck a deep chord within the community, as the victims were well loved and known by many. In the days leading up to the crime, there were no signs of trouble or disturbances that would have hinted at the looming horror. Las Cruces, New Mexico is a tight-knit community with a reputation for being peaceful and friendly. The bowling alley was a popular gathering spot for families and friends, a place where memories were made and where safety was taken for granted. Crime rates in the area were relatively low, making the massacre all the more shocking. The community's sense of security was shattered, and paranoia set in as residents began to fear that the perpetrators were still among them. In the early morning hours, employees began their routine, preparing for the day's operations. The attackers entered, demanded money, and without hesitation, opened fire. Survivors managed to call for help, and within minutes, emergency responders arrived. The investigation unfolded rapidly, but the perpetrators had vanished without a trace. Media coverage escalated as law enforcement combed through evidence, interviewing witnesses and piecing together the tragic sequence of events. Law enforcement launched a full-scale investigation, analyzing surveillance footage, interviewing potential witnesses, and processing the evidence left behind. However, despite their best efforts, the case hit numerous roadblocks. The lack of clear suspects frustrated investigators, and conflicting accounts only added to the confusion. Key pieces of evidence included shell casings, footprints, and DNA traces, but none of them led to a solid suspect. Forensic analysis provided some clues, but nothing concrete enough to make an arrest. Over the years, technological advancements in forensic science have renewed hope that new testing methods might finally provide the answers long sought after. Survivors' statements played a crucial role in shaping the investigation. Their harrowing accounts painted a picture of chaos and terror, with descriptions of two masked men who carried out the attack with cold precision. According to some survivors, the gunmen seemed familiar with the layout of the bowling alley, moving quickly and efficiently through the building. Their voices were described as calm but authoritative, leading to speculation that they had prior experience in similar crimes. However, inconsistencies in their accounts led to speculation and uncertainty. Some survivors recalled seeing different clothing details, such as jacket colors or types of masks, while others were too traumatized to provide coherent recollections. The trauma they endured understandably impacted their ability to recall events accurately, and the chaotic nature of the attack further complicated efforts to establish a clear timeline. Investigators struggled to piece together a cohesive narrative, and conflicting reports from witnesses made it challenging to determine precise details about the suspect's escape and possible getaway vehicle. Over the years, numerous theories have emerged. Some believe it was a targeted hit, possibly related to personal disputes or financial dealings connected to the bowling alley's ownership. Others think it was a robbery gone wrong, as the perpetrators appeared to target the cash registers and safe, only to escalate their violence when faced with unexpected resistance. A few conspiracy theories even suggest that the crime had ties to organized crime or drug trafficking. Some theorists believe the bowling alley may have been a front for illegal activities, and the attack was an attempt to send a message or eliminate key individuals. Law enforcement has explored various angles, including connections to criminal networks operating in the region, but no solid evidence has emerged to support these claims. The lack of a clear motive has only deepened the mystery. Without a definitive explanation, speculation continues to run rampant, with amateur sleuths and online communities contributing their own theories and potential suspects. The media played a significant role in shaping public perception of the case. Initial reports were riddled with speculation and inaccuracies, which sometimes hindered the investigation. Sensationalized headlines and conflicting information contributed to widespread panic and confusion, leading to an influx of false leads and tips from the public. The case gained national attention, leading to numerous TV specials and documentaries that kept the story alive in the public's mind. Some media outlets focused on the emotional impact of the tragedy, interviewing grieving family members and survivors, while others delved into potential suspects and investigative missteps. True crime podcasts and online forums have continued to discuss the case, generating new interest and bringing renewed scrutiny to the unsolved mystery. Despite the media's role in spreading awareness, law enforcement has expressed frustration over the spread of misinformation, which has occasionally diverted resources away from more promising leads. Despite extensive efforts, no arrests have been made in the case. Grand jury proceedings were inconclusive, and without solid suspects, justice remains elusive. Over the years, several persons of interest have been questioned, but none have been charged due to lack of concrete evidence. The legal challenges in the case have been numerous, with difficulties in witness reliability, loss of crucial evidence over time, and evolving forensic standards that have made previous investigative work less reliable. Families of the victims continue to seek closure, advocating for more resources and public awareness in hopes of reigniting interest in the case. Some legal experts have suggested that advances in forensic technology could provide a breakthrough if the case were to be re-examined with modern techniques. However, until a suspect is identified, legal avenues remain limited. The case still harbors numerous unanswered questions. Who were the perpetrators? What was their true motive? These lingering mysteries keep investigators and amateur sleuths searching for answers. One of the most perplexing aspects is how the perpetrators managed to disappear without a trace, despite the rapid law enforcement response and media attention. Questions also remain about whether the crime was premeditated or a spontaneous act of violence. Some speculate that there may have been an insider involved, someone familiar with the alley's operations and security routines. Others wonder if key evidence was overlooked in the chaos of the initial investigation. Families of the victims continue to hold out hope that new evidence will come to light and that someone with crucial information will step forward. As the years pass, technological advancements and renewed public interest may be the key to finally solving this tragic case. Criminal profilers suggest that the attackers displayed a high level of organization and control. Psychological analysis of their behavior points to possible motivations ranging from financial desperation to personal vendettas. Investigators have explored whether the perpetrators exhibited sociopathic tendencies given their cold and calculated actions. The trauma inflicted on survivors has been long-lasting, with many still coping with the psychological aftermath decades later. The Las Cruces bowling alley massacre deeply affected the local community, changing the way residents perceive safety in their small town. The tragedy became a cautionary tale, leading to increased security measures in businesses across the region. Beyond the local impact, the case drew national attention, sparking debates on crime prevention and victim support. The cultural legacy of the crime lingers in books, documentaries, and discussions about unsolved mysteries. Forensic technology has evolved significantly since the crime occurred, and modern advancements offer renewed hope for solving the case. Techniques such as advanced DNA profiling, facial recognition technology, and ballistic matching have been revisited in hopes of uncovering new leads. Experts believe that with the right application of these methods, previously overlooked evidence could yield crucial breakthroughs. Over the years, investigators received numerous tips and leads, some more promising than others. Despite extensive efforts, many of these leads failed to produce tangible results. Several pieces of evidence remain unexplored due to limitations in technology at the time of the crime. Law enforcement continues to encourage the public to come forward with any information that might help solve the case. The Las Cruces bowling alley massacre shares eerie similarities with other crimes, both solved and unsolved. Cases involving armed robberies, turned violent in similar settings, provide valuable insights into potential motives and patterns. Some experts suggest that analyzing these cases might provide crucial clues that could lead to identifying the perpetrators responsible for the Las Cruces attack. The Las Cruces bowling alley massacre remains one of New Mexico's most haunting unsolved crimes. The tragedy shattered a community and left a lasting impact on all those involved. As investigators continue their efforts, the hope for justice persists. We encourage you to revisit the clue question. What item was mysteriously missing from the crime scene? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Together, we can keep the memory of the victims alive and perhaps even uncover the truth that has eluded investigators for decades. As always, remember to stay curious, stay vigilant, and stay safe.